I make a call. Whoop, whoop. I make a call and swoop.
Hey YouTube, hey everybody. I am making my first video and it is about me not knowing I was 7 months pregnant, and a lot of people had a lot of questions when I first posted about it on my social media. Like, I got so many questions, so a lot of skeptics too that like think I'm lying.
But I'm not. But love you. Mwah.
Or just like, I don't know how I would be lying, but like I gotta explain now on video, like just so everybody can watch it at once. Any other questions, you guys can reach out to me on IG or Twitter at Maiki-Armani, just like how it's spelled on here. So let's get started on my story and how I didn't know I was 7 months pregnant.
Oh my God!
So basically, it started. Okay, so I know a lot of people are like, how do you not know? That's the first question. And I know everybody's familiar with this show. I didn't know I was pregnant, but like, funny thing is, I used to watch it, and I literally used to be like, how the hell do these women not know that they're not pregnant, like, or that they are pregnant? And like, like the craziest stories, like they would be like giving birth in a toilet type shit. So like, fortunately I didn't get that far to where I didn't know I was that pregnant, but like it's a real thing. Like, a lot of women might not know, including women of color. A lot of the women that I see on that show, I don't think I've seen a lot of black women on that show. And I did look to see if they still are recording for that, and I don't think that they are. So yeah, I was gonna sign up for it, but I don't think it's like a thing anymore. So if you are curious about that show, I think you can YouTube it, Google it. I didn't know I was pregnant. But let's get started on my story. So first, um, basically how I found out, I just came back from DC to Chicago at like the end of September. And yeah, so once I got back, I was going through like my stuff, and I had like a first response pregnancy test in one of my like storage bins. So I was just like, let me take it, because my body was feeling real bloated, and like, not that I looked any different, I just felt super bloated. I was still really skinny at the time. This was like the end of September, so I was really skinny, and I just was like, let me take it. I had one left anyway, so I was like, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna do it. So I ended up taking it, and it came back positive. And I wasn't immediately stressed when it came back positive, because of the simple fact that I have been spotting, like, at the beginning of July of this year, 2020. So I was spotting in July. I didn't think anything of it because of the fact that my periods are super irregular. So that leads me to one point. I have super irregular periods. Any other women out there that have similar situations, or they're not sure. A lot of men that deal with women with periods, I'm sure. Irregular periods is a real thing. Um, and I only get my period every 2 to 3 months. So this is without birth control. Also, before, I was taking birth control to regulate my period since I was like 16, because I have low estrogen levels. So Google it if you have any more questions about irregular periods. I don't know the science to it or anything, but I was like taking it, and once I was taking birth control, my period was coming every month. But I stopped because I had terrible side effects. I was taking something called Monanessa, something like that. It's in a yellow pack, and it was giving me terrible body acne. Like, it was so embarrassing. I used to wear like crop tops all the time when it's hot, like bralettes, be cute. I went to Howard, shout out to HU. So like, we would have parties. We would go to parties, a lot of parties, and I would be wearing crop tops, and I have like these acne scars on my chest and my back. So I'm like, that's not cute. Like, and I know it's from this birth control, and I don't remember if it was breaking out my skin. This was towards like 2018 when I was taking it. And I just stopped. So I was like, you know what, forget it. And at the time, I didn't even have a boyfriend. I was like, I'm not worried about taking birth control right now. Let alone, I don't even like getting my period. So I'm just going to deal with the regular periods every few months, whatever, fine. So I did that. I stopped it. And eventually, 2019 came. I met my boyfriend. And, my period was still coming every few months. Didn't think anything of it. Like, it was normal. I was glad. And then when I'm stressed too, like, my periods come even later. So, like, I would get it every 3 months, maybe 4, if I was, like, super duper stressed with, like, school at the time when I was at Howard. And so, like, that was, like, a normal thing for me. And we were being careful, like, whenever we were active. So, that's another thing, like, being careful. But anyways, back to my regular periods. Yeah, so I had got my period. I was spotting in like July. I didn't think anything of it because I was super stressed, and like COVID hit in March. So I was unemployed, and I was just stressed about everything. Like, I was going through a lot too. So being in DC, and I just was like, you know what, this is stress. Like, I'm just gonna deal with the spotting, whatever. And also, I had my period prior 3 months in April, like a normal one. And I keep track with the Flow app. If anybody else uses it, shout out to Flow with the little feather on it. Um, yeah, they're really helpful in regards to tracking your ovulation, your periods, like anything like that. So I use that app to keep track, and I kept track of the gaps. Like, whenever I get it, I mark it. Um, so yeah, and that's pretty much it. So let's rewind to like 2019. So when I noticed my periods were so like gappy, I was a little concerned about like my fertility in the future for when I wanted to start a family. I wanted to start a family personally when I was like 26, 27, more established with my career. I was like, okay, I should have a husband by then. I should like have my own house. Like, I should have my career intact. And fortunately, that didn't happen. But it's okay. Like, I'll get to that later. But anyways, yeah. So that was my plan, and I'm a Capricorn too. So I like to plan my life. Like, I plan for stuff to be not in my control, but so I can prepare for it in case it is out of my control. So, like, finding out I was 7 months pregnant, with like no signs or symptoms or anything like that, like, it was so crazy. Like, anyways, let's get back to the story. So, uh, I went to the doctor in 2019 to my PCP, my primary care physician, and I talked to her. I was like, hey, like, I'm not getting my period every month like I should. I used to take birth control to regulate it, but I'm not sure if I should start it up again. Like, I just want to be sure I won't have trouble having kids in the future. And my physician was black. I loved her. She was just like, when we cross that bridge, like, we'll get to it. Like, I was young. I think I was like 21 asking her this, maybe 22. And she was like, don't worry about it now. Like, we'll talk about your options later. So I'm thinking, oh gosh, like, I have to go through, like, IVF. Like, shout out to the women doing that, or women that are having trouble with fertility. Um, I can't imagine like going through the whole process, and or just like women in general that have had like miscarriages, or whatever the situation may be. Salute to y'all. So I was like worried I would be one of those women. So I know IVF treatment is expensive. So I'm like, okay, let's pray I have the money for this in the future. But that's besides the point. So anyways, brushed it off. That was in 2019, right? So fast forwarding now, when I had took the pregnancy test, and it came back positive, I was like, okay, like, I shouldn't be no more than 3 months, because I know my last period was July. I was spotting. So I scheduled my appointment with the doctor, told all my friends, like, they were like, schedule appointment with the doctor, of course. So everybody was excited. All my friends are excited because I'm the first in the group to, I think, have a baby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I am. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, like, yay, I'm meant to have like a little niece or nephew. And, everybody was excited. But meanwhile, I'm like still having anxiety because I'm like, I'm pregnant. Like, and I'm thinking, okay, I might be like 3 months. I have to prepare for this. I have to tell my parents, like, I'm an only child too, so like this will be their first grandbaby. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how I'm gonna plan to like prepare for a baby, like, and I'm still with my boyfriend now, so like I had to tell him too, and he was very excited, but it wasn't about him. Like I have to carry a child for 9 months. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't really care how he feels. Like this is me, my body. Like this is a baby I'm bringing into the world, a person. Let alone like I'm so goofy. Like I did not know. I didn't feel like I was ready to even be a mom. So I was just like going back and forth in my head, like, okay, so let's figure out my options. And so I go to the doctor maybe like a week after. It's the beginning of October. And she like examines me, fast forwarding to the exam room. I meet her, she examines me. She's like, so like, okay, so she had to give me a freaking pap smear, right? So men, Google it. Women, I'm sure you know what that is already. So as she's like giving me a pap smear, she literally was like, so are you sure your last period was, no, she said, when was your last period again? I said, July. I was spotting. So she's like doing the pap smear. She's like, quiet. And so I'm instantly like, like, this was my face, like literally. Like, what's going on? So, um, as she's examining me, she knew at the time that I found out I was pregnant, and so she's like, okay, so we're gonna do an ultrasound. So she had like a quick ultrasound in the room, and so when she was doing the ultrasound, she goes, Miss Bell, it looks like you are almost 28 weeks pregnant, and like, what the fuck you mean 28 weeks pregnant? Like, how? How? So when she told me that, I was like, what? I honestly don't even remember. I felt like I was gonna pass out, cry, like I don't even know how I felt at the time. And with my brain, I'm like, okay, 28 weeks. How long is that? Like, how long is that? Where, like, how many months? That's what I asked her, right? So she's like, that's almost 7 months. She was like, if I'm estimating correctly, you might be like 27 and a half weeks. She was going on and on. And I just instantly, like, I burst out into tears, honestly. No, y'all, like, for real, this was really me when I found out. I was like, I was like 28 weeks. Like, I'm like, it's almost 7 months. I was like, doctor, I don't have a belly. Like, I haven't had any symptoms. And, like the fact that you're telling me I'm 7 months or almost 7 months pregnant, I was like, is everything normal with the baby? Like I was so stressed because honestly, I was drinking wine, like, and I was like doing me like any other girl my age. So I just was like, doctor, like you have like you. I was like, are you like kidding? Are you serious?
No.
She was like dead ass. So I was like, she was scheduling me for ultrasound that day. It was the longest appointment ever because I had just found out. So got my ultrasound. Thank God, by the grace of God, the baby was healthy and perfectly healthy at that. And I'm also having a little girl. So I'm really excited. But yeah, so she's healthy and I'm healthy. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have any swollen ankles or anything like that. Like, if anything, my face is just a little more poofed and I have a belly. So my belly finally showing now. So yeah, so that was my experience finding out I was like 7 months pregnant. And now going to how I didn't know. Starting with my regular periods, I only got my period every 2 to 3 months. So when I was spotting in July, I didn't think anything of it. Like I said, I was stressed. Also, one thing to mention too, I have IBS. It's called irritable bowel syndrome, according to my doctor. Whenever I'm stressed, I get uh, I get like symptoms in my stomach that affects my like it affects my abdomen. And going over like the signs and symptoms, I went ahead and googled it for you guys. It's pain in the abdomen, and it changes your bowel habits. It causes constipation, gas, bloating, sometimes diarrhea, which I usually don't get, but sometimes I am constipated, indigestion, cramping, and it comes from anxiety, depression, like, so stress. And it really does, it's like a real thing, and there's no medication to manage it exactly, so you just kind of have to like de-stress. That's what my doctor told me, figure out ways to de-stress. So keep in mind, like, I have irritable bowel syndrome. It's during COVID. I'm unemployed, and like, yeah, so I'm like going through all these things, and I'm thinking, okay, my stomach's just really fucked up because I have IBS right now and I'm stressed. So there's that. And then keep in mind also, I wasn't even showing. So like once I edit the video and like figure out how to add pictures, I'll add pictures to show you guys how I looked like during my pregnancy. So I did end up figuring it out, how to add the photos. So you guys just take a look at my little slideshow, and you'll see how skinny I was the whole time. And yeah, that was my belly at 7 months. I literally just thought I was bloated the whole time. Yeah, like there's that, and like I really didn't have a belly. And I talked to my doctor about that too. She was like, some women just don't show like during their pregnancy. Every woman's pregnancy is different. And I went ahead and provided you guys with some quick examples I found on Google. If you're still skeptical, just Google women that don't show during pregnancy, and you'll see different like women, how they look. So I like literally thought I would never be one of those women that like never show. I was like, there's no way, like I'm black, like I'm gonna have a belly, I'm gonna get big, like, not saying that happens to all black women honestly, but like I thought, like, my family, we have hips, like we have butt. I haven't got none of that yet, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it happens. But I'm almost toward the end of my pregnancy and I'm still like a stick. I just have a lot of belly. So side note, I've been praying to the thick gods. Hopefully they hear this. I'm waiting. Whenever you guys are ready, I'm ready to be blessed. Yeah, like there's that, but I guess like I just happen to be one of those cases. So yeah. So also, oh, I wanted to go over signs and symptoms of pregnancy. In case anybody's confused or don't want to Google it, men out there, I know y'all are lazy, y'all don't like to do it, y'all don't like to Google, find out information. So I went ahead and did it myself. And the typical signs, classic signs of pregnancy, coincide with the things that I deal with on a regular basis. So it includes a missed period, which I already told you guys I'm a regular. Nausea or with or without vomiting. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any particular cravings either during my whole pregnancy. So there wasn't like one thing I was like, I have to eat this, or like I can't eat this, it makes me feel sick. Like, no, I don't remember. I don't remember ever feeling that way. I eat everything. So there's that. And increased urination. That's one thing. Cause say I do on a regular basis because I drink water like nonstop. There's never a time where I'm not drinking water. So as the water drinkers know out there, once you drink water, you go pee 10 times a day. So I didn't think anything of it when I had to go pee. Moodiness, bloating, light spotting, cramping. That I literally, I was spotting in July. I didn't think anything of it. Cramping. I think I was having cramps, but I just assumed it was my IBS. Bloating, IBS. food aversions, constipation, IBS. It also says nasal congestion, which I didn't know, but I feel like I'm always congested because I have allergies, so I didn't think anything of it either when I read that. But yeah, so that's my story. This is my first YouTube, you guys, so I hope you enjoy it, and I hope I was informative for the most part. Any other questions, like, reach out to me on social media. I'll put my social media pages on here, so you guys just, hit me up, or hope I was helpful to women and men out there to understand my situation and could happen to you. So just be careful, and my advice would be is to go, if you feel your body's different, definitely go to the doctor, because I didn't go to the doctor, and I ended up finding out I was 7 months, so 7 months pregnant at that, and it was perfectly healthy. Everything's good. So thank you to everybody that's been supportive, and all my friends and my family. I love you guys. All right, so I'll see you guys later.
If I want it, I'ma have it. I'll make a call. I'll make a call and swore. Yeah, you can check the score.